Good whānau, Te Hamiora Fraser Beck with our part 1 on carbohydrates or sugars. This is a broad subject, so we're going to break it up into a series. Our first part is going to just try to define what is a carbohydrate, what is a sugar, and common sources, where we're getting it here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, where to look first. So maybe, so first off, Jay, should we just start by defining what is a carbohydrate?
What is a carbohydrate?
We'll keep it nice and simple, but yeah.
So I guess the easiest way to define a carbohydrate is it's just a bunch of sugars, essentially. There are different forms of sugars, or units of energy that we use to survive, I guess, or to function, to move, to do things. So we get carbohydrates, and so most of the foods that we eat, there's like little units of carbohydrates, but we usually think of it as, say, grains or vegetables. I guess roots or tubers fall under vegetables. That sort of thing.
Yeah, so we'll go over our most common sources. So, for example, we have starchy carbohydrates. The potato is the most well-known one, right? And the potato family is actually quite big. For example, kumara is actually part of the potato family. It's a tuber, it's part of that family. Within these things, they have a glycemic index. We won't get too sciencey on it. Glycemic index is effectively how fast the sugar can be accessed. So how fast I can take this bit of energy and then turn it into something. That's effectively what it is. So for example, good old just plain 100% white sugar is
pretty high,
pretty much 100, which is bad, terrible.
It just goes, it sucks up really quickly.
Awful. Yeah. So your fizzy drinks and things of that nature. That gets used really quickly. Why that's bad is because it causes a couple of things. Insulin spikes. So that insulin, all our people suffering from diabetes, we don't like insulin spikes. Okay, so we don't like our insulin gets released to deal with it. It flings up because it's aggressive release, so the insulin has to come out really, really fast and in large amounts. And that spiking is what over time causes diabetes.
I guess you could give a basic rundown on that one as well. So glucose, or the sugar, or the carbohydrates that come into our body, that needs to be stored in our cells or used for energy. So the insulin is released to signal the body to take that glucose or take that sugar and put it in our cells.
True. Yeah.
So if we get lots of sugar, we release lots of insulin, and then it just can't do as much with it because it's too much, it absorbs too fast, it's going to take it all in. And if you do that too often, if you're constantly forcing the body to produce lots and lots of insulin, then your body becomes resistant to the insulin, and that's when we start getting things like diabetes. Yeah. Because we've given our body too much work to do.
Correct. And that's effectively what a major cause of obesity and diabetes is. That if you are insulin resistant, then you are effectively starting to navigate into obesity and diabetes. Other common sources of sugar, so we have our starch, which are like potatoes, kumara. We also have our simple sugars, so like fructose, which come from fruit. Okay, so you thinking that fruit is healthy? Yeah, sure it is. Absolutely, and maybe particularly. Particularly for people of places like the Pacific Islands that were rich in fruit. Hey man, absolutely. Fruit still needs to be consumed in moderation. Definitely needs to be consumed in moderation. we are not designed to survive off of fruit. Fruit is not going to support our muscle and bones. It's a simple sugar. It's very nice.
It's good for famine, I think.
Yeah.
So that probably would have fruit would have been useful to get that sugar in nice and quick, to store it as fat. So then if you're going to go on a big long boat trip, or if you're going to go on like a big long walk, where there's not going to be much food, or say winter's coming up, you've got lots of fat to survive off of. But now we've got a lot of food, so we don't need to store that fat anymore.
Also, I can see its function being applicable to, it's rich in water and sugar in these locations in which there's a lot of heat. So it's more likely to be utilised in those environments, but not here. So the issues we're seeing today are things like fruit juices, which are terrible, particularly for our kids, giving them these juices. Many of these juices are often nutrient devoid, so they don't actually carry the fibre in the fruit. And also
vitamins and minerals either.
And like our ancestors who ate things nose to tail, we discard things like the skins, the gristle, and the rough parts, which are incredibly rich in other aspects which we are just starting to dispose of from our diet. So our kind of wasteful or modern behaviours and attitudes towards how we consume those. Other sources of gluten that are becoming very, very common and popular. I know growing up at the marae there was a huge amount of things like bread, just bread. Simple bread too, white flour bread. This is full of just gluten and what we'd call a carbohydrate. Carbohydrate becomes sugar in our body. Okay, so another huge issue is bread. It doesn't carry, effectively carries what we'd say no nutrients, so no vitamins, minerals, and things that actually help the functions of our body. They are just energy in the form of carbohydrates. And our people eat a lot of this. Bread is quite cheap, it's easy to access, and it's not very filling. I remember it was very common to eat things like fry bread, just loaves of bread on the table, bread with every meal, things of that nature. So things like breads, pastries for carbohydrates, and then another common one, which we're starting to see on the probably in the households and the kitchen tables a little bit more, is probably like pasta from the supermarket, which is again just white flour. It's just effectively flour and water, just rolled into sheets of to make spaghetti and things of that nature. Again, not a great deal of nutrition going on there. Have I missed anything there?
I think you covered the majority of them.
Most of them,
yeah, pasta.
Yeah. Our vegetables definitely contain some carbohydrates, but generally they also carry a bit of fibre. But they're very low carbohydrate. There's not a great deal going on there, so they're very low carbohydrates. So the footprint's very low, and they tend to have a lot more nutrients.
They tend to fill you up more.
Yeah.
If you eat proper vegetables, you can eat lettuce all day long, but if you're eating, say, your broccoli, your cauliflower, your cabbage, and those kind of things, you're going to get filled up a lot quicker. Someone's actually going to realise that it's got some sort of substance in there.
Yeah.
Whereas I find with bread and other white flour products, I can eat that all day long. We eat it because it's cheap.
Man.
Yeah.
It's a cheap source of energy.
It's cheap, and we think it's going to fill us up because it's such a big, hearty thing.
Yeah.
But I'll eat that all day. It just makes me hungry. It's like sugar goes up and then it goes down. I get tired and I just want to keep eating and eating and eating.
We so in terms of like where to look first, what is a carbohydrate? Carbohydrate is sugar. Sugar is just a simpler form. Our most common sources here in New Zealand that I think we need to tackle are firstly the obvious that we all know, fizzy drinks and energy drinks. Secondly, orange juices, like orange juices, simple juices. They are a big one. From there, we'll be mindful of our fruit intake, particularly for our kids. We're programming them from a very young age to get these insulin spikes. It's going to be drilled into their brains. Okay, manage the fruit intake, and if they are, feed them the whole fruit. Eat the skin of the apples, things of that nature.
You don't need the juices, just have the whole thing.
Yeah, just eat the whole damn thing.
It's easier.
Then we have our starches. Okay, they're not so bad. Kumara, potato, those are more natural forms of carbohydrates, so they are not as bad. The other ones we want to watch out for are the bread. Yeah? Juices, fizzies, energy drinks, white bread. Let's not just say this bread's better than the other. Manage the bread, okay? And then after that, the other one is going to be things like pasta. Pasta, there's no nutrients in there. Those are the ones we really want to be mindful of, our intake. Those are the low-hanging fruit that are going to have the biggest effect on our well-being. Help fight that. That's it.
Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's right. Help fight that insulin resistance. Help reduce our footprint.
Yeah.
Keep eliminating or reducing those, and then adding things like our proteins.
Just real foods.
Yeah, that's it, man.
All real foods.
Yeah. All of those can be replaced with things like you are better off having your mashed spuds and kumara with butter. You're better off just replacing it with just straight vegetables. In terms of carbohydrate source, I would debatably say we're better off with things like rice, which are easy to digest. White rice, none of this brown rice. Easy to digest and somewhat more filling. So there are strategies there. But we'll leave it there for that episode there, guys. What is a carbohydrate? Our most common sources here. What we would like to eliminate or reduce first, and how we will bridge that gap by what we add and what we consider more. Sure.